Well, welcome to Danbury Ridge. I'm joined today by Richard Bampfield and Liam, the winemaker here. We're going to taste the latest jewel in the crown here at Danbury Ridge, Solstice, the sparkling wine. Richard, we tasted this a few months ago, so you've had a sneaky preview. It'll be interesting to retaste it. We're actually in the Octagon block,
which is the source for some of the grapes that went into this, which is good to hear.
Yeah, also the inspiration for the label. So Sophie did a solograph actually from there.
It's very clever.
Going over the course of the year, and interestingly, that's the 2022 path of the sun.
Okay.
So we did the solograph in 2022. And that's looking over the Octagon where we're stood at the moment.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Wow.
Absolutely lovely.
Just by coincidence.
As soon as this is poured, you realise you're entering different territory from English sparkling wine. Honestly, it's the way I see it.
So there's quite a rich colour.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say how you introduced that tasting? You started off with making sparkling wine can be bloody boring.
Is that what I say?
That's what you said.
Yes.
That's how you kicked off.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
My first winemaking job was California, Pinot Noir. I mean, you can't beat that. There's punch downs, dig outs, there's oak barrels.
Right.
And you get a wine that gives you something straight away. So it tastes good.
There's something very interesting, bubbles. You mentioned bubbles, and
It's unusual to see the way it's retained.
yes, this is just very gently bubbly.
Absolutely.
You played around with the pressure, didn't you?
For the pressure was always going to be low with this. I think the acidity is high, no malolactic fermentation, and also there's just not wanting to enhance it too much, not to accentuate.
So a soft sort of
exactly
mousse.
It is astonishing, and I thought it was when we tried it at the launch, and I think exactly the same today. I love it. You pour it and it looks different. You smell it,
Yeah, really rich.
and you just think you're smelling a mature sparkling wine, an aged sparkling wine.
One of the
And you
things
taste it, and there's this wonderful richness of flavour. It's just a joy. It gives so much pleasure. And I know with some, I know with the Chardonnays and the Pinots from the Octagon block, we were saying, oh gosh, I'd love to see how this is going to age.
Right.
Now you're giving us the instant gratification.
Yes.
You've cut out that side of thing. You said, right, this is it.
Yeah.
This wine's going to give now.
Yeah. It's released to be drunk, and I think it will age. I've got no fear about this going anywhere. But yeah, I think you're right. There is a wine that's ready to be drunk.
The fruit in this, one of the characteristics I think of Danbury Ridge fruit is that orange character.
Yeah.
And this to me, we've got buckets of dried orange. I'm going to use
Really interesting.
dried orange grapefruit,
Absolutely.
and it's just really distinctive to me.
But there's other sort of spice. There's a sort of gingery note
That
to it
is
as
spice,
well,
yeah.
and that sort of character to it. All the characters that you associate with the tertiary flavours of a mature champagne. Because there are very few English sparkling wines, frankly, that are old enough to demonstrate these characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's an unctuousness, and I don't know how you've created that, but 70% Pinot maybe is giving us that breadth in the palate, because it is really unctuous, rich. The dosage is relatively light in this. It's sort of under 4 grams.
I think it's about 4.8 grams.
But you've got a great texture.
I have to ask the question. You've, as a winemaker, since this wine, you've made other blends for future editions of Solstice. Is this consistent with what's going to happen in the future as well, or is?
I think the way I love the malty vintage. it's like a get out of jail clause, isn't it? It's like I mean, to be able to achieve similar results year on year would be quite difficult. I do want to tell a vintage variation. So although this is a non-vintage, it is. There is an addition to it. So this is Solstice number 1 is a 19 vintage base. The main difference between Solstice 1 and the following vintages are there's slightly more Chardonnay in the later ones.
Right.
And I think this one gives so much so early, where the Chardonnay actually sort of pulls the Pinot back a little bit. And I think that will be more interesting with cork age. So I think certainly with this first edition, I'm happy for it to be released and drunk now.
Right.
And Solstice 2, I'll be happy to be drunk and released now. But I think in 10 years' time, the slightly Chardonnay-dominated ones will that age more Pinot-dominated one. That's my feeling.
All I can say, Liam, is this is a bundle of joy right now. I adore this. I really do. It's so much pleasure, and it's. I had no idea what to expect because I've tried your Chardonnays, I've tried your Pinot Noirs.
Yes.
When the first sparkling came out, hadn't had it. I wasn't expecting this.
That's good.
And it's a surprise, but a brilliant surprise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
And I hope you get a chance to try Solstice. It's definitely much more on the gastronomic kind of profile of sparklings, and it's tasting absolutely delicious today. Cheers, everybody.